Published 0612 EDT, the 2nd of September 2017. Updated 0724 EDT, the 2nd of September 2017. A man whose internet date turned out to be a convicted murderer has told of his horror after the naked maniac stabbed him in the neck as he slept. Mark Kavanagh was recovering from the heartache of losing his long-term partner to an illness when he reached out to Stephen Lund, 63, online, but unbeknownst to him, Lund was a wanted man after breaching the terms of his release when he was let out of prison early after murdering a lorry driver. Mark said he had absolutely no idea about his lover's past and said he appeared adventurous and charming, surprising him at his flat in Ardwick, Manchester one evening. A man who thought he had met the man of his dreams on a dating website was left fighting for his life after his lover turned out to be a convicted murderer. Stephen Lund, left, 63, was jailed for 27 years this week after subjecting Mark Wright, 51, to an horrific knife attack in his flat in Ardwick, Manchester, but he awoke in bed to find Lund standing over him, glaring at himself almost trance-like with a knife after he had slashed his throat. Wearing just a towel and covered in blood, Mark fought him off in a desperate struggle that ended up in a corridor of his flat complex, then ran out into the street to beg for help. A graphic CCTV image captures the extent of the horror as Mark fights for his life. Evil Lund then calmly got dressed and walked away, leaving Mark for dead as a stranger gave him CPR. Lund, who was jailed for life for murdering a lorry driver in 1980 in almost identical circumstances, had been freed from prison on license but had breached the terms of his release and was a wanted man. The manipulative liar told Mark in their online chats that his wife had died from cancer. He said he owned a picturesque house in Ullswater, Cumbria, and drove 2 Jaguars, all cruel fabrications conjured up to lure loving Mark into his trap. Mark recalled the horror and bravely revealed how he hoped to rebuild his life to one day find genuine love. He also issued a chilling warning to others over online dating. Lund, who used many aliases and has convictions for fraud and deception, posed as Stuart. "I just wanted to see if I could meet someone," Mark recalled. "I think it was the first time I had decided to do something like that since my partner's death. I thought that I would give it a go and was looking for someone to commit to a relationship. I had dated, but there had been nothing serious or deep. I remember there were 3 pictures on his profile. One was of him in Llandudno, Wales. I remember seeing the pier. He created a detailed backstory and told me a pack of lies." He awoke in bed to find Lund standing over him, glaring at himself almost trance-like with a knife after he had slashed his throat. Wearing just a towel and covered in blood, Mark fought him off in a desperate struggle that ended up in a corridor of his flat complex, then ran out into the street to beg for help. They exchanged messages. Lund told Mark he was 56. Mark, who works with the NHS in patient rehabilitation, said he liked him. He said he was outgoing and adventurous and said that he liked to go on holiday, he recalled. "We had chatted about his life. He said he had lost his wife to throat cancer 3 years ago, so I mentioned my partner passing away. It wasn't about sex at all. My intentions were to find a partner and he said that his intention was the same. I thought he just wanted to meet someone and settle down. That's how he came across, like me. There was nothing that you could predict. I was just that unlucky person." Lund surprised Mark by arriving in Ardwick one night just 48 hours before the attack on December 21, 2016. They had only started to chat online days earlier. Mark admits that he shouldn't have given him his mobile phone number. Lund continued to make contact. "I got back from work and the next minute my phone rang," he said of the night of the attack. He said he knew that I was in because the lights came on. He must have been hanging around. They had dinner and watched a film, drinking orange juice and coffee. We went to bed, had consensual sex and fell asleep. Mark said Mark needed 32 staples to his neck and was in hospital for 2 weeks. Lund fled to Great Yarmouth, where he was arrested. He had dinner and watched a film, drinking orange juice and coffee. We went to bed, had consensual sex and fell asleep, Mark said. I woke up and it was like someone had pinched my neck hard at the back. He was stood over me next to the bed. I asked him what he was doing and he said his nails were too long and they had caught my neck. I felt a warm sensation and I saw the knife. I shouted at him and said, "What have you done to me?" He was glaring at me like he was in a trance. He was telling me not to panic. I got up out of bed and he had me in a headlock. He had the knife and was just slashing at my neck. I pushed him away and ran to the front door. We started to grapple in the hall. There was that much blood that I couldn't get a grip. He put his fingers in my mouth and pulling at my jaw. I was naked and bleeding to death. Mark said he managed to get a towel but the attack continued and Lund said he would kill him. I was shouting and screaming and banging on the walls. He was glaring at me like he was in a trance. He had the knife and was just slashing at my neck. It was just sheer panic. I did not know what had happened to my neck, but I'd think that he was going to kill me. Adrenaline kicked in and I knew that I had to stop him. I was fighting him off with the towel and pushing him back. Mark said that Lund suddenly went back into his flat. He took his chance and ran outside, managing to reach a Tesco store at around 6:30 a.m. where the alarm was raised and he was treated. He needed 32 staples to his neck and was in hospital for 2 weeks. Lund fled to Great Yarmouth where he was arrested. Mark told how he's slowly making a recovery. He attended last weekend's Pride Festival in Manchester but said he's still wary of others. He called for more to be done to improve security of online dating sites and urged others to be wary. "I was not about sex," Mark said. "It was about trying to find a life partner. I will just have to learn to trust again. I am not interested in seeing anyone at the moment, but I hope that changes. Hopefully it will."